Hey there guys, and welcome to NIMBY Rails. This is a brand new game pretty much. At the time of recording it's been out for less than a week. So I have big plans, which consist of recreating the entire UK rail network. They probably won't happen because I know how long this game takes to play, and how much it needs to be left running to make any money. But I do know that I can safely get the whole of the Isle of Wight done with the starting money, so that is what I will do. We'll start with stations, because that obviously is a good place to start with trains. You don't want to build a train and not have a station to stop at. And I know that I don't need to be more than sort of 75, well not even that, but 75 is a safe bet, meters long for this. If I just put in all the stations first, so that's Shanklin Station. We have Lake is up here somewhere. Lake is always the one that I'm a bit forgetful as to where it is exactly. I think it's here. But no, that's Sandown. Okay. It's not there. Is it here? Yeah, it's here. Here we go. Lake. 75 meters. It's really not easy to see the length thing, but I'll get used to it. And then Sandown is here. Also 75 meters. There is a bit of a gap, braiding station, which you can see because it's got the historical signal box marked. That needs to be roughly 75 meters. And Smallbrook Junction. This is where it gets interesting because I need to get 2 stations in. And from my practice, I know that getting one in as a station, as ground level rather than on a viaduct, is a bit difficult. It is in theory possible. How long is that? That's 90, so I need to be a bit shorter than that. There we go, 75. And I need another station, sort of over here. And if I drag that back and get that to 75, that's for the steam railway, which I will be including. Then Ryde St John's is here. Oh, really, I should put a depot in here, but it doesn't fit because the depot requires that much space. It's 100 meters long at least and that wide, so I won't be having a depot. But it doesn't matter because you don't actually need a depot to dispatch trains, so it's not a big issue. Ryde Esplanade, probably the most awkward one to get in, purely because it needs to be curved really, and you can't do curved stations in this. So we'll just have to sort of try and squeeze as much in as possible. 60 meters will have to do for it. And then finally, and this one has to be on a viaduct because it's out in the middle of the ocean, 75 meters for Ryde Esplanade. Or Western Gardens in Gosport, apparently, is what we're going to call it. But that's fine. We'll fix that. That is a bit of a mess. Let's not have it look that bad. There we go. Then we can come off the viaduct onto just normal track. We're a bit off there, it needs to sort of be down here. That's fine. And then into a tunnel, because it tunnels underneath everything. I'm actually not 100% on how the tunnel curves, so I'm just going to put in a load of spline points that I can change and mess about with. Comes out there, okay. So the last spline needs to be there. Then we move everything to work with that. I think it's a sort of S-bend, from what I remember. There we go. Out of the tunnel. And now it becomes a bit easier because it's clear on the map where the railway is. While it's been removed from the map, it's still sort of got the empty ground around it. So you can kind of judge where the track is meant to be, which is very helpful. So here at Smallbrook we need a switch, so I'll use create branches, create a branch here. It looks terrible, but then you can sort of move it over here and then just connect the two together. Well, you could if it worked, but I apparently need to move that slightly. Then can I... that spline point I don't think is going to be terribly useful, but we'll see. There you go, that's okay. It's not too bad. I mean, that set of points doesn't actually get used in the end, so it doesn't really matter what sort of speed it is. Because it is just, in real life, it's just there for transfer. In fact, I think it's not even there anymore, possibly. I'm not 100%. It's been a couple of years since I've been to the Isle of Wight. And a couple of years more than that since I've been on the railway there. So my knowledge is exactly up to date. I'm keeping a bit of an eye on the budget. Obviously we've got $1 billion apparently we're using to start with. I'm pretty certain I can do the whole line and the steam railway and buy the trains for it for 150 million. So I should be okay, but it's always a good idea to keep an eye on it. That's not pleasant, but again, grading's meant to be built on a curve, and I can't do that in this game. Maybe that's something that will be added in the future, or modded in. Who knows? We can hope. It is only a week old, and it is in early access, so there's plenty of things that could be added. You can probably really hear my keyboard as I move along, because I forgot to change to my quieter keyboard that I don't like. So apologies for that. It is quite clicky. It's unfortunate, but that is the way it's going to be for this episode. I've made it to Lake. I've just got the one stop left to go, which is also the most awkward because I have to get across this road and it's a slightly awkward angle. But there we go. Up here, round the top, and in. And we're done. Next step, need some stations for the steam railway. So Ashy Station is somewhere around here. It's a bit arbitrary, really. It is rather in the middle of nowhere. The catchment is terrible for it, so yeah, forget. You don't drag. You click once to start it and click again to finish. There we go. Haven Street and Wootton up here at the end. Clear from the path that it's actually meant to be a lot longer than 75 metres, but 75 metres is what we're going with. Come down the... that's not what I wanted. Down the open gap in the forest and grassy area and everything. It's OpenStreetMaps I think it uses, but I'm not 100% on what the colours mean. I don't use OpenStreetMaps myself all that much. And I'm coming to regret it now, because I can assume that darker greens are forests and lighter greens are grass, but what's grey? Is it just nothing of interest? I assume. That would be logical. But there'd still be grass around the railway. I gather this is marshland. Hence why I can't build across it unless I'm on a viaduct. Or presumably in a tunnel would also let me build across it. There we go. One stop further, I've got to get out of Ashy and up to Yeah, I remember what I did here. I just popped it into a tunnel temporarily. Just to get under the road. Bit of extra cost added, but I felt it was the easiest way to get around that. Then up to Smallbrook. Now, while the game doesn't really work with heritage railways or whatever, this will actually like get passengers and they'll transfer at Smallbrook, which does happen in real life, but not really. they're not commuters in real life. They are just tourists. Whereas in this, they are most likely commuting somewhere. So you end up having to rename a lot of stations. I think Shanklin always needs renaming it because it's insistent on being Shanklin Bowling Club. Lake works. Sandown doesn't. I don't think Brading does. Brading insists on being historical signal box rather than Brading. And none of the right ones work. Because they all think they're in Gosport for a start, which doesn't help their case. But you know, that's a thing. Apparently half the Isle of Wight is Gosport and the other half is Shanklin, and there's not a lot in between. Right, Pier Head. I cannot spell head as it turns out. There we go. Obviously normally you get a lot of people at Ride Pier. There's only a catchment of 15, but normally you'd get a lot here because they're getting the ferry across from Portsmouth. That's not something I can replicate in this, but you do still get a couple of passengers up there. Build all blueprints for 106 million. It's a lot, but it's built now. And now that it's built, I can make a line. In fact, I'm going to make 2 lines, but we'll make 1 line to begin with. Make it a blue. And call it Island Line. I need to prefix. I'm going to prefix them with their train operating company code. So SWR, base ticket price. That's, I think, roughly accurate to what they do charge. It turns out really cheap for this game, and I could probably up it quite a bit. So we'll see. But we'll start with that, purely because it's accurate. I have clicked the wrong button there. Delete. B. I have to zoom in for this one. No, that is not what I wanted, and it's also not what I clicked. T. B. 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 A. Because we're going back now. A. C. A. There we go. Minimum interval. It's technically runs a 20 and 40 minute interval alternating, but it will in the next couple of months start running a half-hour interval, so that's what we're going with. Ideal travel time for the train I'm using is 100. So estimate times. Then purchase trains. I've got some mods installed. I will link in the description my list of mods that I'm using. But for this, we just want the London 1992 2 cars. It's now technically like they used 38 stock, which is now gone, and they're moving to 72 stock, I think it is, or whatever the D stock is. But this will do. Base colour white. Decal, whichever one looks most accurate. That one. That's the one I like. 2 units for the Island Line. First things first, that one. And then this one. And start time. Max speed, because I need money. And the other line we will call we'll do HR for heritage. There we go, got there eventually. And it's the Isle of Wight Steam Railway. We're going to charge the same rate, because what else would I charge? It's going to be white. And awkwardly is going to be operated by the same trains, because there's not a lot of variety going on at the moment. Again, hopefully something mods will rectify in the future. But for now, this is what we get. Estimate travel times, set minimum interval. But I'm only going to run one train on this. I think one train can do a half-hourly service. So I think I changed the decal to something else that is completely wrong, but oh well. And put it on the heritage line. And there we go. It's sorted. That's 2 lines running. You can't see a thing because, you know, it's running quite fast because I want money. Hopefully, I am making money. I'm making some fares. It's greater than my running costs, so that's something. People are starting their trips and boarding the trains and all that stuff. Hopefully, nothing is too full, if that makes sense. This train's only got 5 people. 444 in a 2-car train feels wrong. But okay, we'll roll with it. They're not carrying the largest number of people, but there's not the greatest amount of demand going on here, so I can't say I'm terribly surprised. Counting wise, we've not had any refunds. That's the main thing in this game. Make sure you don't get any refunds. I could probably up the base ticket price quite a bit. Like, I mean, realistically, probably 30 and still be fine. Don't think anyone would care. No, we're now refunding people. Okay. Well, I mean, we weren't refunding on 2, so we'll stick with 2 because it feels accurate. Feels realistic. So, this was a first look at NIMBY Rails. I'm going to stick with this for a while, hopefully, but the further we get through, the more I'm going to have to wait for money to be made. So, we'll see. It might not last as long as I intend. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.